Uh, let's start the. Well, it's starting. Ooh, I forgot about the end stream button jumping in front of my thing there. We're gonna start this 15 minutes early, so if it's a little quiet in the beginning, people are still waking up. But we will. Basically be going through all the stuff. We are going to. Alright, so, of course, every day, gotta do our Genshin Dailies. Gotta eat our vegetables before we, you know, play with the pasta. Let's go here and condense resin real quick. Okay, I was 15 minutes early. Yeah, I know, it's a little early, but just wanted to, get zipping. I was doing some writing or whatever before stream, so I figured, you know what, might as well just do it on stream. And I didn't want to wait 15 minutes, I was just raring to go. You should take the Fallout. There, what's it? This isn't Fallout 3, this is Fallout New Vegas. Let's see, what game music do we got that we can do? Of course, my entire recommendation, or my entire recommended is nothing but, writing for a plot, or you writing, or being a weirdo and just writing to write. I was writing various stuff related to the actual, to the game. God, what would be a good... It's like Hotline's too big. Fallout 3 is basically Fallout New Vegas. A lot of people would argue it's two very different games. Oh, this is just a mix of more Fallout music. What do we got? Skyrim exploration music? That's usually pretty good. Let's skip to Ancient Stones. Near Replicant OSD. Alright, we'll do Near Replicant.
My sister is sick, and my only goal is
Oh no, I forgot all the ads.
I'm tired.
Hopefully that's the last ad. Skyrim exploration is pretty poggers. Well, I already swapped to Near Replicant. Shall it be Skyrim or Near? I should take off my delay. I don't know why you have a delay at all. It seems very bizarre. You choose? I guess we'll do Near. I don't know very much about this music, and I've heard Skyrim music for a long time. It is my stream, but I am governed by forces out of my control. Alright, what's my third monitor gonna do? My third monitor could be yeah, it'll be OBS. Oh man, how have I been? I just been, you know. Not too successful at pretty much anything I've tried recently, but still going. Alright, that's all the daily energy done, so we just gotta go and do all the main quests. Just been binnin'? Yeah, just been binnin'. I need to go through the effort of, what's it called? Chasing down all the, what is it called? I need to go through the effort of actually, like, coding my game there's only so much planning you can really do, right? But I figure the plotting and, you know, the character stuff and all that is like really decent for streaming because it's like anybody can, you know, suggest stuff for characters. But for programming, it's a little bit more boring. It's very difficult to make that entertaining, and I am not the best person to show off where programming is the funnest. But, hopefully it'll be fun. Wants to learn coding, so you'll watch. It'll be interesting, because it's hard to tell if it'll be learnable, really. Well, I say learnable, but it's hard to tell if it'll be information that I can properly explain and digest. But we'll see. It should be an experience regardless. I'll bombard you with questions. That's a good idea, because there's a principle with there's a principle in development or whatever where sometimes you get so caught up in your own head when you're developing things that when someone is just like, you know, hey, what does this do? Taking that moment to explain to somebody what you're doing actually does usually helps you out a lot, because sometimes you just get wrapped up in your head too much, and then whenever you take a step back and realize, oh, like all these systems are way too complicated, there's an easier way to do all of this.
Barbados, guide us.
So, well, what's it called? I will appreciate that kind of looking out for me in the future.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Do I believe in Satan? Yes. I believe in Satan as much as I believe in God, because God created Satan, so of course they would exist in tandem. Seems like a lot of work on God's part. A little bit silly, but I feel like it happened. Tips and tricks based on my 5 minutes of block coding. Yeah. Actually, I do have when I finish my dailies, I will actually have what's it called? Ooh. I'll have a little thing to show you. What the kids call an algorithm. My roommate's major is game design. I wish I majored in... Well, it's a 50-50. I kind of wish I majored in game design. But, it's one of those things where it's like an art degree. So, you know, part of me is just like, why would I, you know, major in this? But the other part of me is like, having someone actually sit there and be like, oh, you know, here's all the books you want to read on this topic and all the stuff or whatever. Why game design? Wouldn't computer science make more sense? See, that's an interesting distinction, because game design is like kind of like art focused rather than science focused. Game design presupposes that you kind of understand that computers work. And of course, game design has actually been around longer than computers have. Because games like chess and checkers and all that stuff, those games had to be designed. Obviously, you know, over time, people kind of figured that shit out. But, it's definitely, it's a discipline. Like, there's ways to make the games good, and there's ways to make the games poor. So, learning basically where game design is the best, or where practices or whatever most fruitful and all that. It's like, you know, it's a whole section of things. Computer science probably is really good if you want to learn to make your own engine or do any of that stuff, because, you know, that's a very that's a super technical skill and that requires a lot of like knowledge of the back end of computers. But, you know, there's so many features out there to save you a lot of time and learning all that. Did you see a new Cadillac was announced? Did they announce a new Corvette clone? Because the Corvette clone is the only Cadillac I like. I'm doing computer information systems. That was my major. Yeah, I haven't seen it. All electric SUV. That's SMH. I like Cadillacs. Cadillac sports cars are funny to me because it's like take the base of a engine or whatever, and then do something else with it. Why did you curse me? Well, I don't understand. What are you talking about? You're typing so much I lagged my stream. I mean, yeah, it's his flavor. Hopefully we get an explanation, but I'm not holding out hope.
Barbados, guide us. Time to rock. At the front end. By royal decree.
It looks nice except the back of it. The back of it looks ugly as fuck. It's not terribly expensive or talking about the thing. I am now doomed to live in Florida and like anime. Yes, that's true. All computer scientists do the same things. That's why they're all identical. I think he's saying because of him, you and him share a major. Yes, I imagine. Midnight Phantasmagoria. Don't even know if that's faster than sprinting. But yeah, the oh, what's it called? Cadillacs. Cadillacs are so weird, you know? Such a gaudy experience or gaudy exterior, you know? It's like somebody saying to me, or it's like someone being like, "Oh, I'm gonna, you know, cover this car in gold or whatever." Like it's such a I don't feel it kind of look. Hey, purple. Yeah, Tyrone, how do you like the new Nier Automata? Tell us in detail. Alright, that's a good 13 minutes of Genshin for whoever watches for that stuff. We're gonna go do game design now. I like it but I wouldn't pay $50 or more. I'd get it on sale. I mean, man, if you're gonna steal the game, then why bother asking if it's worth it to play? Seems silly. Okay, so here's the thing I wanted to show Tyrone. My algorithm design. Probably should do put a big circle right here. This would be like the start of the algorithm. And this is every termination. Let me do this real quick. That's not a termination. Save and exit's a termination. Steal the game. Because I respect y'all's insight. Oh, I see. You want to ask us whether or not it's worth your time, because your time's more valuable than money, apparently. Alright, but, so this is, this music is unfortunately too loud in my own ears, so I'm gonna drop it, but I'm gonna bass boost the actual thing. So it should stay at the same level, it's just not as loud for me. Okay, so this is an algorithm for the actual or what's it called? Place took a bunch of nested menus. Time is money. I'm very aware. That's why I waste all of it. So the game starts right here. What is your favorite album of all time? That's a good question. The I want to say, what is it called? Our Dark Side of the Moon is a pretty good one as far as just like, being formative musically. Because that's one of the first albums I listened to, and I was like, oh, rock music doesn't have to sound the same. It can sound like something else. So I took that and then, went and found all kinds of other music, electronica, and of course, that's when I found, I think Pendulum's The Island is a good formative piece. That's as far as just like, that's something I listened to, and I was like, man, that sounds so fucking good. So I really like, I don't think I've listened to Pendulum's The Island in like a million years, but that's another example of a really good one. Then we got, let's see. When you told me math class was only 3 minutes left. Right. That's how time works. But yeah, the, what's it called? Let's say it's, that one. As far as like end of the road stuff that isn't like formative, or stuff I listened to recently, or not really recently, but, wasn't formative. Uh, like Blank Banshee's music or whatever, that was pretty big as far as just like listening to that and being like, ah, yes, music can be things other than just, guitar. So that was really good. All kinds of stuff. Cheat menu. I don't even know what cheats would work in this game, so don't have that as an option. But I'll go through what's it? Now that I got your attention, I'm going to go through this and explain this giant algorithm. So the first menu is the main menu after the game does its initial load or whatever. So you have like start campaign, continue campaign, settings, conquest mode, edit, credits, and exit. Obviously, exit teleports down here to buy, so that's gone. You leave. But start campaign goes into the tutorial, which you run the tutorial, and the tutorial has a difficulty selector based on how well you perform. Which, of course, you can, like, fuck around and, play better or play worse or whatever to change what rating it suggests, but then you can just select whatever you want after that. And then whenever the mission finishes, you have... I don't know about the next mission, but the idea is you have next mission or go to hub. And then we're going to just pretend you go to next mission. When you go to the next mission, the mission loads, then it runs. Whatever result, good or poor, you do, then it loads another mission or whatever, and, the story continues on. I'm thinking probably going to put, like, a buffer or whatever of, like, what's it called? Let me do my edit lines. Right there. There. Probably mission explanation. I have a delay, but you're mid-explaining, so I can't fix the delay. This is so sad. I mean, I can stop for a little bit. Let me, I'll draw a circle right here. Start fixing the delay now, and then, do a little line. Do another line. And then I'll just, drag this. And then you can fix your delay and wherever it teleports to. That's just how much time or whatever of delay, I guess. And if it like teleports all the way to the end or whatever, that's fine. But now, yeah, should be back. If you did what I said, if you didn't, then that's whatever. So we got the mission explanation, or yeah, I think I'm gonna put like a mission explanation buffer window in front of here to explain everything. Delay fixed, excellent. So you run the mission, do all those stuff. But you at the end of every mission, you have the option of going to the hub. And the hub idea is having a hub where you can modify your ship by changing the weapons and whatever. You can talk to the aces that are either on your side or, you know, are just at the hub for whatever reason. It says talk to director. I think the idea here, or my idea here, is talk to the guy that's effectively like the person giving you missions or whatever for that faction. And of course, save and quit is going to be in here. That way you can just, you know, after you finish the mission, you can save or go to the hub, save and quit, and then get out of the experience if you want to. But then you have the option, of course, play next mission where you start it all over again. But whenever you do continue campaign, it'll send you to the hub. Ideally. So, yeah, it's a kind of like collection of menu or nested menus or whatever that I have on tap just to solve things. And for settings or whatever, these are just ideas. I didn't really know what settings I'm gonna have for the actual thing. Maybe I'll have like real settings, but it depends on how friendly the device is. As far as test computers are concerned, I have like, you know, I have my phone and I have like two laptops, which I don't know if I remember the passwords to. Tired? Yeah. I have to go to sleep in like 4 hours, I think, for work or whatever, so me being tired now is gonna be conducive to being able to wake up on time. But, yeah, this is all the algorithm design stuff I just, you know, did before stream. Trying to basically figure out all the menus and all that stuff. For lore and other stuff, your sleeping times are very strange. Yes, I know. For the faction information, I added gameplay design notes. Well, I added it for like the first 2 factions. The other 3 factions I'm having difficulty going through. Or I'm having difficulty making shit up about because they're so ill-defined. But yeah, gameplay design notes and a summation or whatever to explain, you know, what the faction's about and gameplay-wise what their goals are in the actual video game to accomplish. So like what they're designed to solve, right? So then we have, what's it called? The Raiders or whatever, or the Corporation, obviously, gameplay design. Designed to be the faction the player switches out of. Staying it with them gets progressively harder if you're good, but easier if you're playing poorly. My resolution is too low to read. Yeah, that's why I'm reading it out loud. But for the Merciless Raiders or whatever, I wrote for game design notes, war and plunder is their only goal. Ooh. Okay. I bumped Among Us. I wrote for Merciless Raiders that war and plunder is their only goal. The player opts into this faction. They're opting into fighting every single faction in the game. It's not going to be easy. I kind of want it to be effectively just a bad choice. Like, if the player or whatever gets to the point where they're actually siding with the Raiders, I'm assuming the player is metagaming and trying to play as the Raiders just because they're like, I wonder what this faction's about, right? I'll drop you a little bit. Fucking loud-ass music. But, yeah, the idea of the Raiders or whatever, it's a faction that we fight against, or that every faction fights against. That way everyone has a mutual enemy. But they're not very strong. And more importantly, joining them is a shitty idea. But yeah, before stream I was halfway through doing the Federation before I decided to open stream. So now I'm trying to think of like, what's the Federation supposed to be game design wise? And I figured, you know what? I'm gonna have them. I'm gonna have them as or I want to make the Federation like an easy option for the player to look at and be like, oh, I want to join that faction, right? So they join the faction or whatever. But if you leave the Federation, you're not allowed to come back. Because if you leave, you're marked as a traitor. So the idea there is to, you know, make it so the player, if the player joins and then tries to leave, then it's a little bit like pushback to be like, hey, you can't just join and leave constantly. So that's where that thing is going. And then, of course, no idea for Free World Syndicate and Flotilla. These ones are just extra ideas I was writing down, and I still haven't thought of actual purposes for them. Like, what would be a good, like, mentality for a, it's like not a terrorist, but like, you know, a resistance faction. Like, what would be like a main character of that? Because obviously you got your like Luke Skywalker, but Luke Skywalker is doing all kinds of other stuff in the story that he's related to. And we already have the cocky dickhead, so we can't do like a Han Solo type, because then there'd be two characters that are both really cocky about what they're doing. And self-assurance is a trait that's kind of checkmated by the Federation with a career pilot. It's like he knows what he's doing is right. Well, I guess two characters can know what they're doing is right. That isn't like a completely immune trait that two people can't share. A college-educated anarchist, but they're flying a spaceship and killing people, meat man. College people don't do that. They could be like they could be an uneducated anarchist, but then that would put them into merciless raiders, though. Maybe like a reformed raider, actually. There's an idea. A reform or Crab, you're old. You don't know what college is like now. Yeah, definitely. What's it called? A reformed raider. So I'm thinking of a guy. Uh, or for a reformed raider, I'm thinking of somebody that like, you know, was like preying on people, but eventually like had a change of heart. Let's see. Wanted to help, but was not ostracized. I'm gonna say shunned by feds. Shunned by the Federation, and there we go. Reformed Raider. He had a change of heart after seeing the devastation the Raiders were causing. Wanted to help, or wanted a faction to help, right? But the Federation wouldn't take him in because he's a fucking Raider, and the corporation wouldn't take him in because, you know, he didn't have his like he didn't have his real birth certificate. He had like a copy or one or whatever. Like there's some stupid bureaucratic reason. There's like a stupid bureaucratic reason why he couldn't join the corporation. So, let's see, what else? What else about this guy? I see. I feel like that's a good start for that guy. Let's see. Oh, you know what? The Free World Syndicate could be a faction that no, that wouldn't make too much sense. I'm thinking of like having a three-way battle between like Corporation, Federation, and the other thing. We need a himbo. That could be the Federation. You put a himbo in there. Or not the Federation, the Flotilla. Just add that character or whatever to the Flotilla. Sorry for lack of type schools being school. It's okay. I'm doing what's it called? I just like having I just like everyone being here, you know? It's not a... The viewer number is what I look at. When the viewer number goes up to 3, I'm happy. Let's see. Low equipment. Alright, there we go. Okay, so that's a much better... Okay, I'm thinking of a much better plot idea. So... Starts an attack on the Free World Syndicate. Syndicate? Alright, so... Okay, so lore stuff, right? The game starts out, and pretty much every faction is dealing with pirates or raiders or whatever, and that's effectively like the fodder everyone's clearing up. They're trying to secure their various the various things that they think are, you know, important, and they're clearing out pirates to make space for, you know, expansions and getting stronger or whatever. But the story effectively starts when the corporation decides it's going to attack the Free World Syndicate in order to expand. So they attack the Free World Syndicate, but the question is, what do we do from there? Free World Syndicate obviously responds by attacking back. Or what's it called? Oh yeah, okay, so I got an idea. Free World. I'm gonna do WFS. That'll be slightly easier to type. Spawn. If they are threatened. And let's see. Free World Syndicate responds by retreating if they're threatened. It's up to the player to do what? So, player's choice in a mission where the corporation is attacking the Free World Syndicate, you know, obviously the player is just going to try to perform as good as possible and just kill whoever they kill. But if they see the ace, they have the option, or one of the narrative, or not really narrative tools, but one of the mechanical tools that the story has is sparing and killing aces. Let's see. I'm going to put that below, or I'm going to put that over here, actually. Let's keep the font size. Thank God. 12. I'm not going to have that bold. We're going to do sparing or killing aces of a faction. Assessing situations on the hub. Do we have reasons as to why these factions exist? Yes. They exist because raiders exist because there's an income disparity, and you know, or raiders exist because there's a lot of like leftover military material from the Federation. So they have a way of acquiring that and then preying on other people. Corporation exists because somebody out there trying to make money, and so the corporation feeds into the merciless raiders, and the merciless raiders feed into the corporation. Oh, I should probably make a funny chart, actually. I like charts. Let's make a chart. We're gonna make this picture bigger in this direction. Whoa! Didn't mean to grab you. There we go. We'll do a faction relationships chart. I don't think yeah, I just gotta... Really? You're not gonna let me just scale up by specific amounts? Gotta be... Alright. That's fine. So we have Blue Corporation, we got the Federation, Free World Syndicate, Flotilla, and then like the Raiders. So we got, let's see. We'll do slightly smaller text on that one. So the corporation exists to make money. They have uh, uh, they exist to make money. They expand without regard to existing factions. We got the Federation. Probably do this real quick. Uh, and then so exists to make money, expands without regard to existing factions. What year does this game take place? I don't fucking know. Is it in our universe or is it unrelated to us at all? I feel like it's a, you know, just in a different place. It's not, I don't think it's connected to anything that's happening on Earth. Federized planets. I don't know if those even contribute to the plot, but you know, yeah, it's worth, those things are worth considering. It's not completely unfounded. So, let's see. Raiders. Do I have a cheap arrow? I don't have a cheap arrow. That's unfortunate. Do this. Let's see. Raiders attack and hate all factions. Corporation. Let's see. Attacks. Free World Syndicate. We'll do a little spline here. Wavy spline. So, the corporation attacks the Free World Syndicate because they're like, hey, you know, you have planets we want, and you're like actively resisting, or what's it called? We need your resources, but you guys are saying no, so we're just gonna fucking do a hostile takeover. So I'm gonna do defensive war here. Let's see. Then this faction over here attacks this one. Federation attacks Corporation because uh, stability. So Federation attacks Corporation because they see them as a threat to the stability because they're just mercilessly attacking these unfederalized planets. And then, let's see, Federation itself, uh, so then the Federation attacks unfederalized, or the Free World Syndicate because they're like, oh, you know, you guys have land that we want, and you guys aren't letting us have it. And then Free World Syndicate, or attacks. What's it called? You know, these guys have a defensive war, and they try to destabilize the Federation because they're attacking, or they're trying to uh, get more planets on their side. And, you know, if they can prove that the Federation isn't a good idea, then they can more people effectively join them. I think. I think that's how that government would work. It's a circle of life, but not life. Yeah. And then the flotilla just exists. I need some kind of idea for them, but I have nothing right now. Maybe they'll be cut content because I can't think of anything good for them. But anyway, that's the idea. Raiders attack everybody. Corporation attacks Free World Syndicate and or Corporation Federation uh, and Free World Syndicate all fight each other for various reasons. Corporation wants to expand. Federation seeks stability, so it's going to attack things that harm that stability. And the Free World Syndicate is being cruel. Faction or flotilla are a dying faction with like remnants of them existing, maybe something like that. Flotilla, or remember from the previous stream that flotilla are just a band of ships with no land, so they don't have anything. They don't have anything the corporation wants. The Federation has no reason to attack them for any resources they want, and the Free World Syndicate. Well, maybe the Free World Syndicate like promised them someplace to live, but ideally, or flotilla is unfortunately just completely. There's just nothing I can think of right now for how good or for where to put them. Let's see. But yeah, summation for the Free World Syndicate is summation for the Free World Syndicate is the first casualty in the war. Uh, they're trying to survive, and without the player, they're doomed. Pretty sure that's a good idea. I swear to God, natured is a word, but apparently not. Let's see. We'll have the flotilla himbo. Trying to think of what he was or what he could be about. Uh, we can put strong sense of justice. Don't really know how to write that particular character, so we'll have to. That faction's probably going to die in the cutting room floor. But yeah, I think uh, that'll be a good kind of setup or whatever for those particular guys. So, back to writing the kind of the lore. That's a thing, you know. I wonder if it's possible to even write branching dial or what. I wonder if there's even an easy way to write branching stories or whatever. If it's just cursed, right? To just endlessly like kind of fall. But yeah, okay. Sparing and killing of aces of faction is one of the mechanical tools that we have access to. Discussing situations on the hub can lead to blue choices, which let you make campaign decisions. If player chooses X, then Y happens. It's Tyrone, I don't think you understand how exponential choose your own stories become and why a lot of them end so quickly. I'm just saying stupid shit, don't mind me. Don't be like that. I'm just saying that if a story is okay, I'll explain it with a little diagram real quick. So if a story has two choices, right? Or let's assume that a story you have to make 16 choices in, right? So you make the first choice, and then you make the second choice, and you make the third choice, and you make the, you know, I have coded blocks that made a robot meet. I'm trying to help code. It's not really coding. It's more, you know, narrative design for Choose Your Own Adventure. I just kind of want to illustrate the implications of how too many decisions are going or can cause problems. Okay, so the game starts or whatever at this point, right? And if we let the player make a decision about, you know, between two factions, then we create two realities. And if we in reality one, if we make them make a decision again, then we create four realities. Or was it? We create two realities again. And if we make them have a choice in either of these realities, there's now like 8 realities. So like we've only gone 1, 2, 3, 4 missions deep, and now there's too many realities. The what's it called? You'd have to force the player to like, or we'd have to force the player to like stop certain things from happening. Which is why a million years ago when what's it called? When John suggested the procedural story design, and I was thinking of like the our territory thing. What's it called? The territory thing would give us a limit on how many stories that can happen, right? Actually, that might be a really fucking good idea. As far as just trying to save myself from doing a bunch of not if thens, but so we're gonna put this little graph or whatever in the corner real quick. Okay, I want to design this thing. I hate pasting this shit. Oh my god. What's a good idea? The idea of instead of uh, instead of having a set number of missions or whatever, we do the Tom Clancy's End War thing, where we have an effectively procedurally generated amount of story, right? Although it could be a fucking problem, because procedural generated stories do have difficulties being interesting. And I also hate them. Alright, so, for example, the new idea sounds harder than a branching story. it might be just more convenient is the thing. Because it will be harder, but we just got to think about it, you know? If we figure out how to do it, then the rest of it is just execution. Okay, so imagine, or what's it called? Imagine this is the campaign map, right? We'll do Free World Syndicate right here and here. So, in this campaign map, I can't tell if those hexagons or cubes. I can't tell if those are hexagons or cubes, but gray. Yes. But hopefully the general blobbiness you can tell. So, in the story that we've written, like the corporation or whatever represented in blue, like their first mission is to attack one of these hexagons, right? And depending on how the story ends, like if they win, then they claim the hexagon, and then green is weaker. And then we can run the story for everybody else. Like we could say purple like moves a hexagon over. We can say that red defeats some raiders or loses to some raiders, you know, maybe roll some dice on that. So like the idea is, you know, we take a really cool concept. I would love to open up Tom Clancy's End War and show you literally what I'm talking about, because this idea has already been developed and designed or whatever. But basically, the idea here is as the story or whatever, the game whatever would start, and you would start or do this mission, fight in this area or whatever, and something would happen. And then, or what's it called? Then, of course, the next run, or not next run, but the next mission or whatever, it would like let you decide what mission you would like to take. Now we could just recontextualize the character as not a member of the corporation, but just like a mercenary in general, and he could just get like a DM or whatever and be like, hey, do you want to fight for us to stop this from happening? So like maybe like a war or whatever is happening between the red and purple right here. So these two people are fighting on this stage right here. So the when you go back to your hub or whatever, purple and red are both there, and they're like, "Hey, would you please join us and fight for this thing?" My music paused. But, you know, but here's the issue. Creating the system is it's procedurally generated. So, procedural generation means that we can't really control a narrative, or we can't really create a story. The player has to kind of infer the story from the actions that happen, which creates a lot of like cool moments. You know, a lot of people love like Kenshi and RimWorld and Dwarf Fortress or whatever for what they do with procedural generation. But it's a shit ton of work, like to get the system to actually function in a way that's, you know, A, believable, and B, you know, interesting. But I mentioned earlier, whatever, I was talking about like the Conquester mode, or like an idea, or Conquest mode. Conquest mode is kind of what this was going to be. But what we could do, here's another idea that's slightly a shit ton of work, is just having 4 different campaigns, right? Like a campaign for Corporation, Free World Syndicate, Flotilla, and the Red People or whatever. And maybe a campaign for the Raiders. But like a campaign where the idea is 4 different campaigns sounds like effort. Well, here's the thing. Doing the actual writing to make the 4 different campaigns make sense or whatever, that'll be like fun for me personally. The effort will, or what's it called? Because in order to make a campaign, what do we got to do to make a campaign? Sounds like a good DLC ideas. Well, I'd hope to make a good game in the first place and then make DLC. Gotta make a game first before we make DLC. But okay, to make, or what's it called? Let me write the actual spelling of Campaign real quick. Oh boy. Okay, so the requirements to make a campaign is we need what's it called? We need like a story. We need like, 8 to 12 missions. We need like a mechanical arc. And then I'll think of something else in a second. Have we said what our main character does in the game? They fly ships and blow stuff up. I don't think they're very, what's it called? It's very nebulous right now. We don't really have something where we're just like, our main character is Guy McGuy. It's like, no, we're just, main character is effectively like a player insert, but I'm trying to think of like, because the campaigns would infer either making different characters for the campaigns or making like a, what are they called? Or, characterizing the character in some way. And people aren't viciously hostile to playing characters that you can't just like role play into, right? So I can give the character a character, but we need to figure out his mechanical purpose right now before we figure out like, what's his favorite color going to be. So, campaign requirements is story. We got like 8 to 10 missions and mechanical arc. So, story for a campaign would be really easy to write. Like, you just need like an excuse plot where you're just like, this thing happens and this thing happens. You do that 8 or 12 times, and then you have an arc of missions where you're like, it starts out hard or like changes or whatever. Someone in Zoom is playing a big lag sound from their phone. Jesus. I would hate to be in school during all this shit. Seems like anyone that wants to be annoying could just be exceptionally annoying. Probably would just honestly kick him out or whatever. Be like, yo, dog, do this shit or leave. And it's like, well, I want to leave. And it's like, alright, goodbye. But yeah, story, 8 to 12 missions, mechanical arc. By mechanical arc, I mean like, what weapons or like upgrades or whatever you gain over time. They were called on, so they did that? No, that's shitty. Yeah, I think like this last like year or two or whatever is gonna be real shit. Like it's just like so little information anyone's ever learned from their schooling or whatever. Let's see. Story. Conquest mode example here. Can't wait to go back to school for the homies to see that I grew 1 fucking inch. It's not bad. I am forced to believe you. You know, for the campaign requirements, you could play as, what's it called? You play as the aces of the faction. And that could be a feature or whatever where, what's it called? Like the aces, or what, the aces of the faction or whatever are inextricably tied to the zones that they're in. For the procedural one. Just shooting ideas out. You need to be like 2 inches. Oh, okay. Just be 8 feet tall. Easy. Get on the height stretcher. Characters defined by not so much. Sorry, plays the aces of the faction. Oh man. But yeah, okay, I think what are the letters on the hexagon? I wasn't paying attention. The letters on the hexagon are like the locations of the aces, right? Of each faction. I could reason it out as like these are where the aces are, and if you see a battle's happening between the aces in some location or whatever, you could go there and conceivably fight the aces there. Where defeating them would, you know, be a major fight, or what's it called? Not a fight, but a major like blow to the faction, where you could conceivably start pushing back against them a lot better if the ace was knocked out. Kind of thing. Limits of the branch of the story. Let's see. We can limit it to 2 choices or whatever, simply to make it so the stories don't get out of hand. Killing an ace gets rid of 3 hexagons or something. It seems a little bit draconian considering like Corporation starts with like 1 and Flotilla is literally a single hexagon moving around. But yeah, the you know, conceptually, just spitballing ideas or whatever. Numbers too balance focused. We need more raid. 1.5. Half a hexagon would be really interesting. Another feature of Another feature of End War or whatever was raids on places where Conquest was actually taking over the zone, but raids would like cut off a opponent's powers or whatever for the next mission. So committing to a raid would mean, or committing and completing a raid would weaken the faction, but it wouldn't take the territory. Oh, that's so good. Now that I have OBS open, I can immediately go over there, mute my microphone, cough directly into it, come right back. Alright. Oh, it's on the branch of the story, plays the aces. Alright, so I'm thinking I'm thinking like making 4 to 5 campaigns would 4 to 5 campaigns does sound like a lot. But I think if we have the core gameplay down, it's literally just set dressing or whatever and designing like triggers and stuff. It shouldn't be that difficult as far as like you know, fights start one way, something happens, then modifies the fight, and then the fights end. In the conquest mode, there could be like, you know, terrain effects or whatever, like asteroids and, you know, busy areas, or just like a black hole. A black hole that makes it impossible to fight in a certain zone. Wouldn't it be just 4, not 5? There's the raid faction, or the Raiders faction as well, I think. It's like 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Raiders, Federation, Free World Syndicate, Flotilla. That's 5. But yeah, it's been an hour, and trust me, I barely recognize Flotilla as a faction as well. It's okay. I didn't have or I kept on saying 4 campaigns, I think. I didn't consider the Raider one. But anyway, all right, so we have a goal there where making so if we're looking for content to farm out, making like 5 campaigns would probably be really easy. But worst case scenario, we can just if we make the conquest mode, then we can just make 1 campaign and be able to ship the game as long as conquest mode is in there. But if conquest mode isn't in there, then we need to make the 5 campaigns, because then there wouldn't be any content to play. Make it 2 hours even though I have to leave. Yeah, I'm just gonna close the stream. Seems silly to make the stream go on without, you know, my partner in crime here. But yeah, I think we have a good amount of stuff done for today at least. Nothing is completed, so of course my little schedule thing is still, we haven't sped through it yet. For basic plot or whatever, we've complicated it by thinking of different ideas and ways to play the game. For complete scope, we've gone out of our minds and created a larger scope than we actually needed. We haven't done any coding yet, so we can continue this later in Discord if you want. I'll probably turn off my brain and playing PoE. Unfortunately. Yeah. And plus I'm gonna have to go to bed in like 4 hours anyway, so. You know, it'd be like it'd be. It is what it is. But yeah, as far as it's like we're getting through there. I did a little bit of menu designing and stuff. So the weird thing is I have this chart of like things that we need to do, but at the end of the day, the what's it called? Something that's really silly is the fact that we're just basically like picking and choosing random things on this list or whatever to do effectively. Which I just think that's just like a cute fact, I guess, about being scatterbrained. Is like, we're doing this right now. We're doing this right now. But yeah, I think at the end of May or whatever, I will definitely have a good perspective on everything, and I'll be able to look at it and be like, okay, here's the scope of the game, and then just pour concrete over it. That way we don't keep messing with it. We always doing shit in the wrong order. Yeah, basically. But yeah, we have to think through all this stuff anyway because, you know, teleporting around. We have to think through all this stuff anyway because it would save me a lot of time in the future to be like, okay, I only need to do this rather than doing 15 things and then being like, oh, I gotta cut that out. But yeah, I'm gonna save this, and then we're going to, you know, tell everyone to. Oh, that's a BRB screen. Tell everyone to like and subscribe. I'll finally do it. I know expected is or not expected. Expected's a different friend. I know Snowden would prefer if I did this. Like, and Jesus Christ, it's so big. I already have thanks for watching. I shouldn't put it twice. so massive. I hate text on this thing is so kind of frustrating. Oh, yeah. Put that there. Oh, Jesus. Like it's described. There we go. Got them calls to action. I know how to do this. Wish I could help, but Spanish is... Yeah. I know. The, what's it called? Wish I could do these a little bit longer on the weekends, but I kind of get cut off. Cut off by myself. I'm just like, I gotta stop. Gotta do the other thing. Let's see, that's saved, close that window, close this window. But yeah, see you all next stream. Next stream we're probably going to do, more plot. Or what's it, we're probably gonna think of more, brainstorm more campaigns and stuff. I'll be very tired next stream, so I doubt we'll be able to do anything super engaging. But 1.5 Genshin or whatever is supposed to come out tomorrow, so I might not be able to stream at all. They might close the servers. And if they do, then, we'll see what happens. But yeah, see you all next time. Drink more coffee tomorrow? Oh, jeez. Compounding tired with more coffee is usually a bad idea. But anyway, see you guys later.